While strolling around their neighborhood, two adolescent males came into a cluster of individuals gathered around a car. They moved closer to try to figure out what all the fuss was about, but it was an incomprehensible sight. A monster suddenly stood motionless, frozen in place. If this animal was to survive, the boys knew they had to act soon, but they had no idea what to do. According to Canadian news outlet CBC, pals Jaden Petipes and Aiden Hart made the peculiar discovery in the Canadian town of St. Andrews, New Brunswick. By the end of the day, the two teenagers would be celebrated as heroes for their bravery. They looked around and saw a cluster of people staring at something, so they decided to find out what it was. But even up close, they still couldn't make out what it was. The animal appeared to have been frozen solid and was unrecognizably mangled. The insulation foam under the automobile had encased the squirrel. They realized it probably didn't have long to live. There was nothing recognizable about it, Jaden, age 15, told CBC Canada. The guys walked into the grocery shop to acquire a tiny milk crate to keep the squirrel in, knowing it needed aid but not knowing where to find it. No one else around the youngsters had a clue either, and the situation was only becoming worse as time went on. The boys reached out to their loved ones by phone, pleading for assistance. Then, Jaden's mother took action, calling a vet facility 20 miles away and being instructed to bring the animal in immediately. "I had never seen anything like this before, doctor," Melanie Aiden of the Street George Veterinary Clinic stated. She reported that the squirrel was so ensnared in the insulating foam that it could only wiggle its back legs. The squirrel might not have made it if the boys hadn't responded immediately, bringing it inside with the help of their mother. The vet thought the cat may have been residing in someone's cellar, shed, or garage when it became entangled in the stuff. Become in distress. Someone was probably patching up a hole trying to keep a draft out, and this little guy ran through it when it was still wet, she said. But that stuff hardens pretty quickly, so it wouldn't have taken long for him to become in distress. She added that removing the foam from the animal's fur required a lot of time, effort, and rubbing alcohol. The animal lost some of its fur after she combed it out. The squirrel was eventually returned to its natural habitat. The animal's life was saved thanks to the prompt actions of two caring teenagers.